I was not born to suffer. You see this money? I must make it. Have you ever seen a kind of ugliness that looked like a punishment from the universe? That was Ejiro. Not the type people joke about playfully, no. Her own was a premium limited edition kind of ugly. Her body looked like someone attempted a BBL on a Monday morning and the ancestor said, "Not today, try again by weekend." Her hips faced east, her waist faced west, and her legs looked confused about their purpose in life. Every morning, she stood by the roadside in Ugbokodo village market, frying akara in a tiny stall that made her smell like burnt oil and regret. People didn't need directions. They just followed the scent of hot akara mixed with sweat and silent suffering. But the money? Nonsense. Coins that mocked her. Coins that reminded her that poverty was sitting on her neck like a stubborn landlord. Ever since she lost her parents and siblings in that terrible accident, life had been dragging her like generator rope that refused to start. She watched other girls, those ones with straight legs, flat stomachs, and TikTok audacity, posting soft life, Dubai trips, hair that touched their waist, and captions like, "God did." Meanwhile, Ejiro couldn't even afford kerosene. Every time she whispered her daily slogan, "I was not born to suffer. You see this money? I must make it." It felt less like motivation and more like a threat to the universe. Then one scorching afternoon, after counting her akara money and realizing he couldn't buy even half a sachet of milk, something snapped inside her. Enough was enough. Ejiro wiped her oily hands on her wrapper, tightened her slippers like someone preparing for war, and marched to the house of Pa Oriokba, the oldest, most feared Babalowo in the entire village. His compound looked like a place even demons would knock before entering. Calabashes everywhere, dead leaves that refused to decay, a giant tortoise staring at her with judgmental eyes. But Ejiro did not turn back. "Baba," she said, voice shaking, "I want to be rich. Any method, any sacrifice, just take me out of this suffering." Pariokba lifted his eyes slowly, not surprised, not angry, just amused, like he had been expecting her. He shuffled to a wooden shelf, brought out a black nylon bag and placed it in her hands. The bag was heavier than it looked. Ejiro opened it and almost screamed. 100 condoms. Exactly 100. Pariokba's voice dropped into a whisper, the type that crawls under your skin and sits there. "Ejiro, to become rich, you must sleep with 100 wealthy men, and every time you must replace their condom with one from this bag." Her throat dried. "Ejiro, Baba, why the condoms?" He didn't answer. "Complete the 100, he said, "and wealth will chase you. Stop before the last one, and your life will remain the same or much, much worse." Her hands trembled, her conscience screamed, but poverty had squeezed her neck for too long. She agreed. That very night, she began her mission.
At first, it seemed normal. If sleeping with rich men secretly and swapping condoms like a ritual could ever be called normal, one politician, one hotel owner, one oil dealer who smelled like diesel mixed with lies. But soon, strange things began to happen. One man woke up with rashes shaped like the map of Africa. Another lost all his money overnight. One began talking to empty chairs. Another started barking like a dog at 3 a.m. People called it attack, spiritual wahala, village monitoring spirits. But only Ejiro and the Babalawo knew the truth. Yet, Ejiro's own life, not one naira improved, not one blessing, not one miracle. Every time she complained, Paori Okpa repeated, "You have not completed your 100 men." She was now at number 47, halfway. But the consequences were becoming darker, deeper, more dangerous. Some men ran mad. Some were taken to church. Some simply disappeared. And something else was happening. Something inside Ejiro, a shadow rising in her spirit, watching her, following her, growing stronger each time she completed another man. She slept less, ate less, had nightmares of hands pulling her into darkness. But returning now, stopping halfway, Baba said it might be worse than never starting. She didn't know if it was greed or fear controlling her anymore. Then one night, Paori Okpa called her. He told her the name of the 48th man. Ejiro froze. Her heart stopped because the next man on her list was someone she never imagined in her worst nightmare. Someone whose downfall could destroy more than she bargained for. Someone she feared more than poverty itself. The 48th man on her list, the next rich man she had to sleep with, the next man she had to trick with the Babalawo's condom, was Chief Oyemike. The same man who used to buy akara from her stall, the same man who always squeezed his face like smelling gutter whenever he saw her, the same man who once told his driver, "If ugliness was a person, it would be this girl frying akara." Ejiro froze when she heard his name. Her spirit rejected the idea, but poverty reminded her that she still had 52 men left, and Baba Oriokpa's warning echoed in her skull. If you stop halfway, the darkness will come for you. That evening, she dressed up, not because she had clothes, but because she borrowed a wig that smelled like onions from her neighbor, patched her makeup with powder she bought for 150 naira, and squeezed her body into a tight dress she had no business wearing. When she looked in the mirror, she didn't recognize herself. Not pretty, but determined, dangerously determined. She took a deep breath and headed for Chief Oyemike's mansion. The security guards almost sent her away until she mentioned she came to deliver a special message. Money makes even the most suspicious heart soft. Chief Oyemike was sitting outside, drinking palm wine and laughing loudly with two friends. The moment he saw Ejiro, he frowned. "What are you doing in my house? Who invited you?" His friends burst into embarrassing laughter, but Ejiro was ready. She wasn't the shy Akara girl anymore. She had done 47 rituals of sin and desperation. Her conscience was already shaking hands with darkness. She walked closer and whispered, "Chief, it's about something you lost, something important, something valuable." Men who loved money always listened when you talked about secrets. Minutes later, he sent his friends away and asked her to explain. But instead of explaining, Ejiro used everything she had learned from the previous 47 men. She lowered her voice. She changed her smile. She touched his shoulder lightly. And like clockwork, the foolishness of rich men began to work in her favor. It took only one drink, dimmed light, one moment of ego before Chief Onyemike
The same man who once mocked her publicly was inside his bedroom with her. And when the moment came, she switched his condom with the Babalawo's own. She had become fast, efficient, almost professional. When it was over, she left quietly. Her hands trembled. Her legs felt weak. She hated every second of what she had become. But she told herself, just 52 more. When I finish, everything will change. By morning, the whole village heard that Chief Oyemike had collapsed in his living room. Some said he was screaming and calling invisible names. Some said his skin started turning purple. Others whispered that he was trying to climb the wall like a lizard. Ejiro's heart sank. Every man she tossed suffered, but this one felt different. Almost too fast, almost too intense. She ran to the Babalawo shrine. Baba, Chief Oyemike is dying. Why is it happening faster? Why is everything getting worse? Baba Oriokpo didn't raise his head. Instead, he began drawing strange symbols on the floor with white chalk. Ejiro, he said quietly, the more men you complete, the more the spirit inside those condoms becomes hungry. She froze. What did it? The old man gave her a tired look, a look that confirmed she had stepped into something far bigger than she understood. It is not ordinary condom I gave you. Each one carries a piece of a shadow that wants blood and soul and balance. Ejiro stepped back. Baba, you didn't tell me this. If I told you, he replied, you would have run away. Her body went cold. So why am I not getting rich? She whispered. The Babalawo's chalk stopped moving. He looked up at her slowly. You will only receive your wealth on the night you finish all 100 men. Until then, the spirits take, but they do not give. Thunder rumbled in the distance, even though the sky was clear. Ejiro felt her throat tighten. So, what if I stop now? She asked. The Babalawo didn't blink. If you stop now, the spirit will no longer haunt only the men. It will come for you. Her breath caught in her chest. And Ejiro, he added quietly, you only have 1 week before the spirit begins to feed on you instead. She staggered backward. 1 week. 52 men left. And a spirit getting hungrier with every man? Her vision blurred. Her ears rang. This was no longer about riches. This was a countdown, a spiritual race, and the spirit had already begun following her. She could feel it, sharp, cold, breathing behind her neck. The real terror of her decision had finally arrived, and she was still only on number 48. If fear had a smell, Ejiro was swimming in it. After leaving the Babalawo shrine, she felt something following her. Not footsteps, not wind, but a presence. A shadow that didn't belong to the sun. A breath that didn't belong to any human being. She walked faster. Her slippers slapped the ground loudly. Her heart slapped even louder. By the time she entered her room, she shut the door and pressed her back against it. Silence. But that made it worse, because in the silence she heard it. A whisper, a faint one, close to her ear. Fi, fi, ti, tu. She screamed and jumped away from the door. Nobody was there, but something was. She could feel it watching her, waiting, counting the men she had left. She curled on her bed, hugging her own legs tightly. "God, what have I done?" she whispered, but even her prayers felt afraid.